What is Ethereum and how is it different from Bitcoin? If you're just starting your crypto journey, you've probably heard these two names more than once. But what exactly is Ethereum? And how does it compare to the more well-known Bitcoin? In this video, I'll break down the key differences, explain how Ethereum works in beginner-friendly terms, and help you understand why it's such a big deal in the world of crypto, even if you're not a tech expert. Let's dive in. Ethereum is a decentralized open source blockchain just like Bitcoin, but with a much broader vision. Launched in 2015, Ethereum was created by a group of developers, the most well-known being Vitalik Buterin. Unlike Bitcoin, which focuses mainly on peer-to-peer digital payments, Ethereum was built to be a global platform for decentralized applications. Think of Ethereum as the internet's version of an operating system, but for crypto apps. It allows developers to build and deploy apps that are not hosted on any single server, but across a decentralized network of computers. These are called dApps, or decentralized applications. And the fuel that powers this network? It's called Ether, or ETH. Just like how gas fuels a car, ETH is used to pay for transactions and run programs on the Ethereum network. So, what makes Ethereum so revolutionary? The answer lies in its flexibility and utility. At its core is a concept called the smart contract. Unlike traditional contracts that require lawyers or third parties to enforce, smart contracts are bits of code that automatically execute when conditions are met. As an example, imagine you want to sell a digital piece of artwork. With a smart contract, you can automatically get paid in ETH once the buyer receives the file. There's no PayPal, no bank, no human approval needed. This trustless execution of contracts is what powers much of the innovation in decentralized finance, or DeFi, and non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. So how does Ethereum work under the hood? Well, when someone interacts with Ethereum, whether by sending ETH, buying an NFT, or using a dApp, their request gets bundled into a block along with others. These blocks are verified and added to the chain by validators. Originally, Ethereum used a system called proof of work, the same energy-intensive system Bitcoin still uses today. But in 2022, Ethereum made a huge leap and transitioned to proof of stake. Instead of relying on miners solving these complex math problems, it now uses validators who stake their ETH to help secure the network. This move reduced Ethereum's energy usage by over 99%, making it one of the most eco-friendly blockchains in the space. Let's go a bit deeper on smart contracts. These aren't just basic scripts, they're programmable, versatile tools that can handle many things. Some of these things would include lending and borrowing, such as Aave or Compound. They also handle yield farming, such as Yearn Finance. It could also handle decentralized exchanges, such as Uniswap and SushiSwap. It could also handle DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, which let communities govern themselves with rules written in the code. What's fascinating is that once a smart contract is deployed, it can't be changed. This creates transparency. You can verify exactly what it does because the code is public. But it does also introduce some risk. If a contract has a bug, or if the logic can be exploited, there's no undo button. This is why smart contract audits and safety reviews are so important. Let's revisit some of the biggest differences between Ethereum and Bitcoin, but with some added context. Let's look at its purpose. Well, Bitcoin was created in 2009 as a digital alternative to money, a way to store value and transfer funds without a middleman. Ethereum was launched in 2015. It was created to be a world computer, allowing developers to build tools, apps, and platforms on top of it. Now let's look at the programming capability. Bitcoin is intentionally limited in its scripting ability to reduce risk and complexity. Ethereum has its own programming language called Solidity, which allows for more advanced features like smart contracts and dApps. Now, let's take a look at the network activity. Bitcoin's primary use is as a store of value and payment system. Most of the activity on the Bitcoin blockchain is just transactions, whereas Ethereum hosts thousands of applications such as games, financial services, NFT marketplaces, and more. It's a living ecosystem. Now, let's look at the supply and monetary policy. Bitcoin's supply is capped at 21 million coins. That hard cap creates scarcity. Ethereum, on the other hand, has no maximum supply. But its recent upgrade, like the EIP 1559, did introduce burning, which is a mechanism that reduces supply over time. And now let's look at the consensus mechanism. Bitcoin uses proof of work, where miners compete to solve puzzles and secure the network. This is resource intensive. On the other hand, Ethereum now uses proof of stake, where validators are chosen based on the ETH they've staked. This is faster, more scalable, and more eco-friendly. And lastly, let's look at the speed and the fees. Bitcoin handles around 7 transactions per second, whereas Ethereum currently handles about 30 transactions per second. But this will increase dramatically with the Ethereum 2.0 upgrades. However, Ethereum's gas fees can spike during periods of high demand. Layer 2 solutions like Arbitrum, Optimism, and Polygon are helping reduce those costs. Let's take a look at some of the ways that Ethereum is currently being used today. So for starters, there's DeFi. This is where people are earning interest, taking loans, and trading assets on platforms without banks. It's also used for NFTs, as artists and creators sell digital collectibles with proof of ownership. It also is used for tokenized assets, such as real estate, stocks, and even art can be represented digitally on the blockchain. It could also be used for identity and credentials. Blockchain-based IDs can be used for voting, KYC, or educational credentials. And Ethereum can be used in gaming, where players own their in-game items and can trade or sell them outside the game. Ethereum is more than just a coin. It's an ecosystem that keeps on evolving. And there you have it, a beginner-friendly breakdown of what Ethereum is and how it compares to Bitcoin. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.